Good afternoon, Dr. S. This is Jacob Brooks for your Ideation 500 course, going over his final project and plan. For over the past 7 weeks, we've been developing Jake's gym idea in this course, and this is going to be a stream of videos talking about my plan and how I've developed it for week 8's final project. Thank you. Okay, so I just wanted to start with why. Over the past 7 weeks, I've been developing Jake's gym idea, and I just really want to start by answering why I focused on this idea. And really, the answer is simple. It wasn't any accidental genius that made me stumble onto this. It was the simple fact that it's just passion-based business. I see a lot of businesses out there like 24-Hour Fitness, Planet Fitness, stuff like that, and they have a great franchise model. They're making money. They're popping up everywhere. I'll get into that a little bit later about how that I feel that their business plans are very lucrative, but they're not having a very positive effect on the local communities. But the real reason I chose this business model was because it was just completely passion based. I just want to get out there, and the community that I do establish my gym in, I want to, raise awareness about obesity and nutrition, and I want to make a difference in the lives of my early adapters, and those guys are, military like myself, police like myself, military police, my EMS, my firefighters, all those first responder types. The type of people that if they're out of shape, their physical ability to do their job can affect your life if, God forbid, or they ever have to respond to a situation or you need their help. These are the people that can't afford to be out of shape. They can't afford to, pack on those pounds year after year and not be detrimental to how they do their job. So stay tuned. All right, so I'm back talking about Jake's gym idea. So I just wanted to go over all the specifics about what's going to make my gym better than the stuff that's already on the market. So let's talk about some positives about things that are already on the market. 24-hour gyms are awesome, especially targeting my early adapters. These individuals work around the clock, so gyms being open 8 to 5 just isn't going to work for them. So I would definitely have a gym that's 24 hours a day. You would gain access through a chip reader, and you just swipe it across the door. It is going to increase a little bit of the cost of the security and surveillance system. However, but once the initial startup cost has been paid for, it'll really end up paying yourselves back. I still have not determined whether the facility will be staffed 24 hours a day. That would eventually just come down to the initial interest in the startup, because I wouldn't want to staff working 24 hours a day if the entrance for personal training and stuff like that was not there in the middle of the night. But I would definitely have extended hours, somewhere around 6 a.m. to 6 or 7 p.m. at night. Definitely not just the traditional 8-hour day staff. So, like I said, what's going to make Jake's gym different? 24 hours a day, I want to offer something that most gyms don't, and that's a personalized approach. All right, these individuals that are coming through the door, I'm talking about my early adapters right off the bat, my military, my police, my fire, my EMS. These guys, like I said in my previous video, they need to keep that physical agility up, right? So, and I want to make it interpersonal for them. These guys, they're doing their job. I would hope that they're passionate about it, and they want to stay fit as they get older. They want to be able to run and gun with the young guys. So we need to develop training plans for them. Military, fire, EMS, policemen, they need to be able to move, run, sprint, lift. All types of movements like this are incorporated into their daily lives. They're not as sedentary as like a phone operator or a social worker or something like that. They're up on their feet. So, or they're sitting in a car, driving, traveling. So sometimes they can get, sedentary for hours at a time. But when crunch time comes, they have to move. And statistically speaking, a lot of their on-the-job injuries come from going from that complete sedentary position, just going from 0 to 100 without any warm up or anything. I mean, think about it. You have a police officer, he's sitting there enjoying breakfast, and then all of a sudden the radar gun on the desk of his car goes off, and then he takes off into what could be a routine traffic stop. And just let me interject from personal experience, there's no such thing as a routine traffic stop. Any type of law enforcement agency will tell you that. But, that's how it happens. You go from enjoying breakfast or, drinking a shake in the car to bam, it's time to go. All right, I'm jumping out of the car, I'm dealing with this situation. So same thing for EMT and firefighters. When they get the call, they got to go. So let's not beat the dead horse. But I think you get the point I'm trying to make. So the personalized training, a lot of gyms out there, they'll bring you in, they'll sit you down, they'll give you that warm and fuzzy for the first couple days, and then after that, they throw you to the wolves. They're like, here's the equipment, this is how it works, this is what you can do, bye. But unless you're paying me hundreds of thousands of dollars a year for that specific one-on-one training, you're not going to get it. So what I would like to offer is something a little more interpersonal. When they join the gym, they get a free, I'm not going to say physical assessment, but it will be an assessment of their physical abilities in the sense that, like, okay, what are your goals? What is your job? Where are you trying to get? And then from that, what they, say their goals are, then whether we need to throttle that back or spring it forward, like, hey, you're 275. I don't think we're going to get you down to, 205 in 3 months. It's just not going to happen. So let's set some reasonable expectations. And people need to be told that, like, hey, this isn't possible, okay? Another set of my early adapters are my new mothers. And, it's going to be hard for my personal trainers to sit there and be like, listen, okay, you want to fit in that dress for your 25-year class reunion, that's great, but this is what we got to do. Because what you're doing in the gym, that's excellent. But the other 23 hours of the day, when you're feeding your pie hole, you need to slow it down, and you need to look at what you're putting in your mouth. Which kind of leads me into the nutrition courses that we want to offer. Last week, Dr. S asked me about specifics about nutrition courses, and I did some research, and generally what I want to offer, and we'll just go on the nutrition kick right now, is I just want to offer basic proportion, and I don't want to get specific into like macros and have people counting it, but what I would ask people to do upon joining the gym is I'd like to ask them to keep a food log first 2 weeks they're in the gym. I'm not going to tell them what to eat. I'm not going to tell them when to eat. Yeah, I would just ask them to keep a food log for 2 full weeks, 14 days. Anytime you eat or drink anything that comes in your mouth, you have to write it down. Get a close as you can calorie count, what it is, hamburger from McDonald's, milkshake from Fat Burger, whatever it's going to be. Mom's homemade dumplings, write it down. And then bring it back in. Also, during that 2 weeks, I'd want them to write down any type of activity they've done. Whether they took their dog for a walk, they played catch with their kids, they attended a yoga class, maybe a spin class, something of that, anything, write it down. And then the last part of that would be how they felt before and after the activities. And we don't need a whole personal journal, but let's just talk about, okay, what was your mood before starting, this activity this day? What was your mood when you're finished? Were you sleepy, hungry, tired, just weren't into it? These are key factors into timing, which we'll get on later on in some of the more videos. So, we got the interpersonal approach, the nutrition, the 24 hours a day. So let's talk about what kind of equipment we're going to offer. So in the course, I've went over how we're going to incorporate all the types of functional fitness, bodybuilding, cardio, yoga, aerobics. I've even mentioned types of martial arts. I'd have to bring in, a specialized instructor to do martial arts, but I think that is a good route. I haven't done a lot of research on it. but that would definitely accrue a cost. It wouldn't be able to be done on the initial startup because the interest would just have to be there. So, but I do know that in the police and military side of the house that Krav Maga and self-defensive tactics do get a lot of interest from them. But like I said, we just have to see how it plays out upon the initial membership from the early adapters and so on and so forth. Stay tuned. I got a few more videos coming up. We'll be going into a couple more things about Jake's gym plan. So, all right, Jake's back. We're talking about Jake's gym idea. So, we were just talking about what's going to make the gym unique. And now I wanted to get into the meat and potatoes of why people should choose this gym over my gym. So I don't want to bash on any other company, but I am going to throw some names out there like 24 Hour Fitness, Planet Fitness, CrossFit, whatever it is, whether it's so and what these gyms do, what their business model is. And like I said in my previous videos, is that they have a very lucrative franchise model. But what they'll do is they will take a space, something that is alluring, and they will set up what I like to call a flyby gym. So where when you look at it from the outside, it looks appealing, like it's not some grueling workout center that's going to beat you down. And they, put a bunch of bright colors on it, all these like fitness posters from all these people that went from, 4,000 pounds overweight to, the perfect fitness model. And they give you false hope, false expectations right from the jump. But the reason their model is so lucrative is because they will market to the non-gym goer, the person that they know is not going to come back. They're going to catch them at the 2 peak periods of the year, which is the New Year's resolutioners in January, and then the people in the summer who have realized that they don't have the beach body they once had, and they go sign up for a gym because they want to get their beach body back. So, it's lucrative because they appeal to these people that they know they're not going to go. And like I said in my previous video, they get them in the door, they make you feel special, and then they never check up on you. They just like, here's the equipment, go for it, Scooter. So these individuals, on average, will pay for a monthly membership, and they go less than 4 times a month. So, when you're paying $30, 20 to 40 range for all these places, when you're paying that much a month to go to the gym, it doesn't really sound like you're really wasting any money, but you are. You might as well throw it out the window. So, and a lot of these places, they make them kind of like flyby, like I like to call them, compact gyms where, it's a very small center, 10 treadmills, a few bikes, maybe a couple ellipticals or stair steppers, and then they'll put a bunch of, like Life Fitness machine weights in there, and then maybe there'll be a squat rack and a flat bench. Some Planet Fitnesses or Anytime Fitnesses or 24 Hour Fitnesses, they have limitations on like amount of weight you can lift, stuff like that. And they also some places don't allow you to deadlift or do any type of functional fitness movements where the bar is going to be above your head. And I understand that some of that's due to liability reasons and insurance, but some of it's just because, like the space that they're using is not made for movements such as that, because everything's just crammed in there. Quite frankly, these gyms to me, when I visit them, and I have used them, they look like 10 pounds of crap crammed in a 1 pound bag. There's just so much stuff in the gym that you just can't even move about amongst yourselves. But that's the idea. They want to get, fire code in their building, we'll say is, 250, 300 max. If you had 250, 300 people in your average Anytime Fitness or Planet Fitness gym, and you guys know the ones I'm talking about, I mean, it would look like you're going to a Metallica concert from the 90s, like shoulder to shoulder, You can't get through anybody. But that's their fire code. But nothing says that there's a cap on the membership to the gym. And you can get on any online search engine you want to and do any budgeting research through Dave Ramsey. He's a really good guy. Or just look at gym memberships. Gym memberships have a really negative connotation when it comes to budgeting. That's because most people don't use them. Like I said, statistically speaking, 4 times a month or less. So, you're paying $5 for every visit you go to the gym at $20, a $20 membership. Now, and they shoot for a high membership in the thousands. And then they just, let you fall by the wayside. They don't care if you show up or not. You're locked in on that membership contract. You are there. You are in the system for your yearly contract or whatever. They'll focus on you when that year's up, and they'll try to reel you back in and get you in the door. And that's another thing that I didn't mention earlier and why Jake's Gym will be different, but I don't want to have set contracts. I want monthly rates, and if you don't feel like you're getting the results that you want, then I would encourage all of my customers to come in and sit down with somebody from the training staff and let's reevaluate your goals. Because at the end of the day, nobody is going to care about your fitness success as much as you. Personal trainers don't get that job to get rich. They do it for job satisfaction, and they like to go to the gym. And they want to, give that knowledge to other people. I mean, there are some personal trainers in the world, like for celebrities, that make hundreds of thousands of dollars. But in the instance that I'm referring to, you're not. So, and that would be my challenge to all my members. I would tell them, like, right off the bat, okay, listen, you can come in here and bust your tail for 60 minutes, and we can do great things over the next month. You can come 5 times a week, 7 days a week. You can come 2 times a day for 2 weeks. But when you step out of this gym, what you're consuming is going to affect this. And we'll get more into that on my nutrition video. So stay tuned for more about Jake's Gym. Hey, Jake here, back talking about Jake's Gym. I just wanted to go back and recap on a couple things about nutrition. I know I mentioned it earlier in 2 of the videos about how important nutrition is to Jake's Gym. And, I've said that I would like to keep a dietitian on staff, and I do. Because some people have different needs than others as far as eating. There's cultural differences, ethnic differences, where some people don't eat, pork and stuff like this. And that's all fine and dandy. You eat, whatever you want within reason to your diet. And sometimes it's not what you're eating, it's the portions that are going to kill you. There's nothing wrong with having that burger and fries every now and then. But when you have it 5 times a week, that's when it's really going to pack on the pounds around your stomach. So what I'd like to offer as far as nutrition goes is I just want to start out with the very elementary versions of nutrition. We want to get the customers in and tell them, like, hey, okay, when you sit down and you look at your plate, when you prepare a meal for yourself, cut it into quarters, okay? And you want 2/4 of that plate, or over 50%, to be fruits and vegetables. It's that simple. And then you have a half left, or 2/4 of the plate. 1/4 of that plate should be whatever the meat is: chicken, fish, beef, pork, if you eat it. And then the last quarter should be carbohydrates. And like I said, I want to keep it elementary at first. You can get into complex carbs, what's the best type of carbs to consume before, a marathon, or what should I eat if I want to put on muscle. And all that information is great information. You can Google, how to put on muscle or how to lose weight, and the internet's going to give you 1,000 different answers and 1,000 different diets. But at the end of the day, you kind of have to do a little trial and error with your body. Some people's body responds differently to carbs than others. Some people's intake of water is different than others. That's something that I just kind of want to go on a tangent right now and say that when I do bring members into my gym, that's the first thing I'm going to tell them. Is I'm not going to say don't drink soda, but I'm going to say if you do drink soda, you need to moderate that consumption because those empty calories in the soda are killing you. And I don't care if you're drinking diet, it's full of aspartame, probably cancer causing. That's what they say. I'm not a scientist, but, just stay away from it. Get you some high quality H2O. Okay, that's what you need. Minimum of 8 glasses a day. If you're working out, you're one of my target area early adapters. One of those guys that's hustling and busting all day long, you're going to need a gallon of water a day, minimum. Some days, like I said in earlier videos, I'm in the military. I do law enforcement stuff. Some days, I'll only spend 1 hour doing any type of, cardio activity, and I still drink over a gallon of water a day, and I'm still thirsty. And your body lives on water. Your body is 70% water, so you need to replenish it. And besides, it cleans out all your organs anyways from all that other nasty stuff that you're consuming. But back to the nutrition. Water, water, water. Okay, 50% of your plate, fruits and vegetables. And we don't want the processed stuff. Now, we could get into a whole nother video about non-GMOs, grass-fed beef, chicken, all that good stuff. And I would have to really, first I'd like to seek legal counsel before I started offering courses at my gym that were that specific. Because if I start saying, hey, only eat this type of chicken, only do this, and you're only going to get the results, I don't want to make sure that I wouldn't incur any legal lawsuit from doing that. But at the end of the day, it's the client's choice. I mean, I would never associate my gym with any brand of chicken or beef, but definitely give them the information and be like, hey, grass-fed beef is better than non-grass-fed beef. Non-GMO chicken is better than GMO chicken. Or, at a minimum, I would give them the information and just let them find the research, and they can eat whatever they want. And really, that's what it's going to come down to. At the end of the day, owning a gym, I would hope that all my employees are going to be invested in our membership's welfare as I am personally. However, I can't control what they do when they leave the gym. I can only give them the tools to succeed. So, it's kind of like the age-old adage. I mean, you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make it drink. But you know what? I can drown that horse in knowledge. I can tell them what they need to know, to get the results that they want. And at the end of the day, once you've showered that person in the knowledge that they, have asked for, and you get them on the right track to success, whatever their fitness goal is, losing 20 pounds, okay, I want to, put on 10 pounds of muscle, be able to lift a certain amount of weight to a certain rep range. I want to be in the 1,000-pound club, for those people. 1,000-pound club is where you can bench, deadlift, and squat cumulatively over 1,000 pounds. So, whatever your goal is, and that's what we're there to do. We're there to help them get a goal. I'm not there to tell them, like, hey, you're a runner and you don't lift weights, you can't join our gym. That's not my call. I'm here to encourage any type of fitness. So, and that's fine. Which I would like to get into a little later on is, the obesity rates in the country and targeting children once I've establish my gym and my early adapters. I would like to get into, some type of community outreach, nonprofit fitness program associated with the gym where I could bring kids in. But I know that that's going to take up a different dynamic because you're going to have to work with the school systems and the school board because you can't go out into the community and be like, don't eat the school lunches, they're giving you crap. Pardon my language, because, you could end up with another lawsuit on your hands. And these days, everybody's willing to sue everybody. So, I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but at the same time, like I've been saying during this video, you want to give them the knowledge to succeed, okay? And give the kids an outlet to, get up off the couch, put down the video games, and, be active. And that's really what they need. They just need to be active, and kids don't need to be in the gym pumping iron, so to speak. But, just get up, play kickball, play catch, sport, something like that. But stay tuned. Got a couple videos coming up My next one, we're going to focus on the feedback from my business model and talk about the interviews from last week a little more, and then the answers from that. So stay tuned. We'll see you soon. So Jake back here. We're talking about the interviews I did last week and the responses I got and how people felt when I interviewed them about Jake's Gym. So last week, I interviewed 10 people, a couple active duty military, 2 federal firefighters, 2 EMTs, 2 local police officers, and 2 new mothers. One had just had a baby, and one was due next month. So, and what I did was I went out and I gave a flyer, and I just gave them all the high points about what Jake's Gym was going to be about, and I asked them a couple questions. Actually, it was more like 7. And here were the questions. I asked them if they currently attended a gym or a fitness club. What is their main fitness concern or focus? What do you do for fitness? Cardio, weights, CrossFit, sports. Do you have a developed workout routine or meal plan? What would you take a nutrition course if offered by a gym? And how much would you pay for a gym membership? Personal training, etc. And then what would make my gym idea better? So all the people I talked to and interviewed were between the ages of 22 and 46, and they were all married or in a serious, steady relationship. The majority of the people I interviewed had children, so I got very positive responses from all these people. I mean, just awesome, awesome, awesome feedback. They loved the fact that my gym was going to have more of an interpersonal approach and not that thrown to the wolves type of deal. Where they love you when they get you in the door, and then once they get your money, they just, throw you out like yesterday's trash. So, but some of the ideas that I got about what would make my gym better, and I kind of hit on this last week in the assignment that I wrote, but I wanted to go back because I did a little bit more research this week thinking about some of the things that were brought up. And a couple of the things that I found out were, so first and foremost, right off the bat, the ladies were concerned about sanitation. So now, definitely, would definitely have sanitation bottles with a diluted cleaner for all fitness equipment throughout the gym, and I would definitely like to keep the pullable, pliable, moist towelettes that you just pull out of the thing, kind of like the industrial type baby wipe deals, and keep those around to wipe everything down, and then you can just throw them away when you're done. And that's something that I do need to add to my lean stack as a variable cost depending on how much we use it and go through it, but that's definitely going to be in there. And I really like the fact that they had brought that up because I hadn't thought about it on my own. So, also going back to the child-friendly fitness rooms, all throughout the past 7 weeks I've been talking about that was one of my angles to get new mothers in my early adapters is a child-friendly fitness room. And, my whole goal there was to give new mothers a place that they could go in the gym. They don't have a zillion eyes on them. If their kid starts crying, they can set them down, get on a treadmill or an elliptical, have visual of their child, know that, like, hey, he or she is in this play area, sleeping in their car seat, playing with their Legos, or just relaxing, watching a TV in the room, cartoons, whatever, what have you. And it would give that mom the peace of mind, I don't have to pay a babysitter when I want to go to the gym. I can take my kid to the gym and let them sleep if you have an infant and, you spaced out your feeding times appropriately or whatever, what have you, So, and that was something that is important to me. Also, something that appeals to the ladies with that is, ladies can be intimidated by the gym, especially a woman, like a woman that's just had a baby. My wife just had a baby, so I'm speaking from personal experience. She actually just walked outside so I can do this part of the video. They can get a little self-conscious about their post-baby weight. And, giving them that room in the gym, that family-free or family-friendly room to go in and work out, I think goes leaps and bounds with women like that. I've only seen one in one gym that I've been to on all the military bases, and that was here in Groton, Connecticut. They have one. It's very small, doesn't have a lot of equipment in it, but it's phenomenal for the families. So, and I definitely want to incorporate that into my gym. Um, so, moving on, I was asked about locker rooms, which, of course, locker rooms are imperative to have. Uh, Places like 24-Hour Fitness and Planet Fitness, they kind of get away from locker rooms to cut down on the size of the facilities, and they use things like cubbies and baskets to like put your personal belongings. And then you just kind of put it out in the open. I would definitely like to incorporate these baskets, not so much the baskets, but the cubbies. To, like when you walk in the gym, you can take off your sweater, put it on the coat rack or the cubby, and go and do your thing and move on. My locker rooms would definitely, they would not be huge. I would want to, 20 lockers in there max, a couple showers in each, a couple benches to sit down and change. But we're talking interior inside the building, something that's, less than 250, 300 square feet. I mean, we want it small. This is a gym, that you can go in, do your thing, and then get on out of there. A lot of these 24-hour fitnesses, they have like kind of like extended family bathrooms instead of a locker room where there's like a shower, a toilet, a sink, and a cubby hole. So, if you're in there taking a shower, that door is going to be locked and you're the only one using the facility. Same thing for, so two of those, you're talking, 500 square feet of your building is just that. And that's it, just your locker room. So I definitely don't want to waste floor plans on it, but it's definitely something to incorporate for those people that, want to take a quick shower, rinse off, get ready, and go. Definitely important. I also like the fact that, well, everybody wants to talk about price and median price. And I kind of hit that up in my other video about how these major gyms have, kept their prices low by getting all the memberships in. I would like to keep my monthly price in that same price range, that 20 to 40 price range. To be honest, the more research I do, the more I think that it's probably going to be closer to 40, maybe 45 or 50. But when I interviewed these 10 people, the $40 price range was comfortable for them, and that would be my target goal. $40 a month is the basic membership package. Stuff as far as nutrition courses, I don't want to lock them in and say, hey, okay, a 6-week nutrition class or, like this and that. I haven't really developed how much I would charge per course because I think that's going to go a lot off like my initial startup membership and then the interest in the gym providing the course. Out of the 10 people I asked, all 10 said they would go to the course. However, at the time of the interviews, I didn't have specifics on how much it would cost. I know that a lot of gyms out there, they do like class packages where you can attend like a cycling yoga step class or something like that where you buy like 14 classes like on a ticket card, like a coffee punch card. And you pay $40 for this card and you can attend 12 classes of your choosing. Maybe somewhere down the line in my gym, I would incorporate that for classes. However, I don't really think that you should hide the prices like that. I mean, obviously, one-on-one personal training is going to cost an individual more than $40 a month. But, the basic gym membership should include those classes. I mean, now granted, there'll be first come, first serve, but, it should be included. Those hidden fees are just, they're worthless. You really just disguise what's going on. The other thing that was brought up that I really want to do some more research on was towels. And, somebody asked me about water dispensers as well. And to be honest, I think they're great ideas. However, I think that they're very costly amenities to have for your gym. Towels alone, and I only know this because certain military bases removed towels for a certain amount of time because of the cost that it it is for electrical and water to run those washers and dryers constantly to keep those, fresh towels up there for the gym. Same thing with towels for showers as well. Not just the hand towels, but full towels for people to take a shower. I wouldn't be providing that just because that's how I'm going to keep that overhead cost down and, be able to give them a $40 a month gym membership. And it doesn't sound like a lot of money, but when you're doing 4, to 8 loads of laundry of just towels and sweatbands and all this stuff, I mean, like, it's really going to add up your monthly, electrical bill. And a lot of stuff in the gym, is not pulling electricity except for your treadmills. They're going to pull it, your TVs, your security system, and your lights. These bikes, self-propelled, they power themselves. Same thing with ellipticals, self-propelled. All the weight equipment, you don't got to plug any of that in. You just get in there and push it, pull it, whatever you got to do. So I definitely think that would definitely start pulling some juice as far as your electrical bill. Water dispensers, though, we're talking about those 5-gallon jugs, the Culligan Man, those type of deals. Like I said, convenience item. I would definitely look at installing water fountains versus the disposable, jug. Well, they're not disposable jugs, but the refillable jugs. Just because these water companies like Culligan, you get a contract, you ask for X amount of 5 gallons a month, they bring it by weekly, whatever, you get it in there. I'm giving them water, and it's just it's not going to be worth it. I mean, it's a comfort item. We're all about bring a bottle. Hey, if I want to cut down on the use of the 5-gallon jugs, maybe I could do like some like free trial thing. The first 500 members to the gym get a free Nalgene bottle. Like this right here. This is all you need: a Nalgene bottle with some water, maybe a little Mio in it for flavor. That right there. Give them a Mio bottle. As soon as they sign up, they can walk over to the water fountain, fill it up, and just drink it. Bam. Because with those water dispensers, then you're going to be looking at those little plastic and paper cups. And those things you're going to burn through. It's going to be ridiculous. So I just don't think those are going to work for Jake's Gym. Stay tuned. Got another video coming up. We'll see you soon. So Jake back again. So I just wanted to elaborate a little bit more on the interpersonal part of my gym because I do think it is a key cornerstone of what I'm looking for to make my gym something special. And basically, the interpersonal relationships that I'm talking about, I kind of hit on it in a couple other videos, but I want members to feel comfortable, when they come through the door. And I've said it in multiple videos, there's these flyby gyms. They come in, they get your money, and then they throw you to the wayside. You're nothing to them at that point. You're just another member paying their bills, getting them some money. So, really, I do believe that the cornerstone of my product is the interpersonal, goal-oriented mentality. We're going to get them in the door. We're going to set them down. We're going to be like, hey, what are your goals? What do you want to do? What's your occupation? And, where do you want to be? And something that, I've mentioned all that before, but I just want to say that, we're going to take them and we're going to bring them back in and set them down, every few weeks. We're going to get them in there and we're going to be like, listen, hey, we weighed you 3 weeks ago. You've went up 4 pounds. Okay, that's great if you're the guy that wants to put on muscle. Hey, we're going to do a body fat percentage. All right? We're going to tape you. We're going to do the calipers if you want. But at the end of the day, they have to outline their goals to me. And then my job is just going to be to take those goals and help transcribe them on paper and be like, listen, this is how you're going to get there. This is the roadmap to success, okay? All right? You want to lose 20 pounds? Well, I don't think it's unreasonable to lose a pound a week. However, okay, you need to do it like this, all right? You need to put the junk food down, and you need to start burning more calories every day than what you're consuming. And it's going to fall off. Don't crash diet. Don't binge eat. And those are the type of things that are going to come from that interpersonal coaching. And, I mentioned it in the in another video about how, it's going to cost a little bit more for the coaching. However, if you want the one-on-one hourly sessions, of course, no gym could offer that, $40 a month for every member to get one coach. I mean, fitness trainers, they wouldn't have any money to live off of. They would be in the gym 24/7. But and most people, they don't need someone to stand over them every second of their workout. They need that checkup. They need that status update. Like, hey, did you do this workout this week? How'd you feel about it? Did you try this exercise? Oh, squats are really hurting your back. Well, let's go over there and let's take a look at your form and let's look at this and really see. Okay, all right. Well, you're caving. You're going forward, or this is why. Maybe you need to stretch out your ankles more, or maybe you just need to practice doing air squats and really get your groin stretched out before you just jump on the squat rack. Well, or it could be somebody running on the treadmill. Like, oh man, every time I run, my knee hurts. Like, well, what kind of shoes are you wearing? And we're not trying to be Captain Save the World, but we want to investigate the problems. Most people, they're just like, oh, it hurts, when I run, my knee hurts. Well, what kind of shoes are you wearing? Are you wearing minimalist shoes and you have a high arch on your foot? These are all basic type things that some people just overlook and they just give up. So, but I just wanted to touch on that a little bit more about the interpersonal workings of how I want my staff to approach our members and just give them that warm, fuzzy feeling like, hey, we're not here to make fun of you. I don't care if you're 40% body fat. We're here to help you meet that goal. And I think with that mentality, that's what's going to keep these people coming back in the door week after week, day after day. Like, hey, I'm glad to see you coming back. You're working towards that goal. And once you reach it, that mentality of success will bleed in. It'll go through word of mouth, and there will be more members joining because of those success stories. I don't need a bunch of fancy posters on the outside of the gym giving people false hope and unrealistic expectations. If you put the hard work in and you get the real success stories, that will bleed through the community and people will want to come. Thank you. All right, so we're back. This should be the last video. And so for the final project, week 8, we've gone through everything. We've come up with our idea. We've worked it. We've tested it, compared the waters. Looked to see if it's feasible. We've looked at other similar ideas on the market, how they've developed their plans, all types of stuff. Over the past 7 weeks, we've really been digging in to the meat and potatoes to see if this idea is workable. And of all the research and feedback that I've gathered, it is a workable idea. So how am I going to do it? Well, this last 7 weeks, it's all on paper. But, from here, we got to take it to where the metal is going to meet the meat, so to speak. And it's going to be a lot of work on my part to get it established. And right off the bat, I'm going to have to, establish that building, that location. And definitely going to put that location somewhere in the middle of town, accessible to, families, all my early adapters and stuff like that. And I definitely want a facility, not to get too bogged down in the specifics because we've gone over them over the past 7 weeks. But, I need a facility that is at least over a few thousand square feet or a couple thousand square feet to fit everything I want in there. Preferably, I would like to have something 2 stories. But, the design is flexible. All plans are flexible. Business plans need to be able to be modified. So if the market doesn't allow me to lease a facility as such, then, adjust fire left or right as needed and, keep on moving. The next thing that's really got to get the gym off the ground is a line of credit and leasing the gym equipment. Done a little research, putting in, the type of equipment I'd like to get, and I would definitely want to go with Life Fitness equipment for all my machines, my treadmills, my ellipticals, my bikes, my stair steppers. Definitely the exact number on how many of those cardio items would directly correlate with the amount of square footage and the facility I could get. So, and the same thing is going to go into the figures for the weightlifting equipment as far as squat racks, benches, and free weights. I would definitely want at least two of everything as far as the free weights are concerned, and the benches and the squat racks, and then a few extra bars with the deadlift platforms attached to them. I've looked at a couple leasing companies out there, and last week I quoted a price of, I believe it was 100,000, and just in leasing equipment. And there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can lease it outright from the company, or you can go to a bank and you can lease from them, kind of like buying a car. You can do it whatever way you want. Depending on your credit, is going to really depend on your return, which is why I compare it to car buying. Because even if your gym fails, you're stuck with this equipment. Now, if you buy into a franchise like 24-hour fitness and stuff, or anytime fitness, these different companies, they have different models and policies about how much liquid equity you or your business partners need to have to even get the name on the side of the building, just in case it's a failed business plan and they need to liquidate all your assets and get their money back. So, but definitely, I think the $100,000 ballpark would get me all the equipment I need. So we've got our location, we've got our equipment. Then we're moving on into the marketing strategy. We've been over that during our marketing week. I would definitely focus on TV and radio commercials, definitely, just to hit those broad overarching. But tackling those early adapters, I mean, the only way you're gonna get into it is going directly to the source. Police stations, fire stations, EMS stations, which at the firehouses, some of them are not, some independent EMT companies out there. And then obviously military bases. You have to be careful advertising on a military base, but you'd be surprised the amount of people that walk by these bulletin boards, and you put your flyer up and they'll look at it. And Facebook is another one that I don't think I really hit on during that week in the course of marketing, but Facebook is huge. Get a Facebook page, tap into some of the other Facebook pages. These military organizations, firefighting organizations, a lot of different police departments have Facebook pages, fire departments have Facebook pages. Pretty much everybody's interlinked on the web. And, a great thing to do is, once you start marketing that, hey, I've got a gym, directly focused on these EMTs, firefighters, and police officers, they're going to come out, make them feel welcome and they will come. What's that movie? Build it and they will come. So I really truly believe that this is definitely a model that could and will work. Now, somebody asked me in the forum this week, I was already reading them, about the numbers and how many people do I think I'm going to have. And last week, like I said, I took my best educated guess from the information at hand. I'd like to have 1,000 members. Everybody wants to make money, but ideally in this location, 2,000 plus square feet, the fire code's probably going to be somewhere over 400 or 500 in the building at a time, depending on the floors and spaces. But like we said earlier in a previous video, 500 people, just because the space will hold 500 people doesn't mean 500 people want to be in there at the same time. So, I would love, I would definitely shooting at a minimum of 500 members, but I would like an optimal number would probably be around 750. I mean, you got to pay the staff. I want to get paid. Don't want to work for free. But I believe starting this business up, there's going to be a bunch of other avenues that once it's established and running in the day to day. And I mentioned this in a previous video, the nonprofit aspect about going out there and tackling the nutritional side with children and kind of bringing it over into the family aspect, which over the last 2 weeks I kind of got a little bit away from my initial plan, focusing on children and stuff like that. And I do want to do that, but after the initial business plan is up and running, and turn it into a family-friendly fitness environment. Because, the kids are our future. I mean, they're the ones that are going to inherit the earth and all the stuff that we have once all of us are all gone. So, And that's my business plan, my how-to. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message. Jake's Gym, coming to a town near you. Thank you for your time.